Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Ace from Top Table Gaming and I'm here today to discuss the new metagame and a new deck idea prototype called as you like for this metagame. I'm talking about the Time Thief Lunalight deck. I first faced this deck during my stream on Twitch, and where one of my followers asked me to playtest this deck. And let's start saying that after the new forbidden and limited card list of January 2020, the metagame changed a lot. For example, Spiral is back, is one of the most dominant deck in the game again. Dino is back, Burning Abyss is playable. Salamangreat is not completely dead, but it's still playable. We will have new archetypes like Ignister and the new cards like Time Thief. So the deck basically relies on level 4 monster in order to summon rank 4 Xyz monster, especially Time Thief Redoer and Time Thief Perpetua. We're gonna analyze the basic combo of a deck and the basic strategy of a deck. And just remember, this is a prototype. You may change some cards, you can adapt the list to your playstyle. And the only sometimes you may break with this deck. I know you may decide to put some more drawing power, something like that, but in general it's a pretty good deck with pretty good synergies everywhere. So let's start with the deck list. First of all, a little danger engine made of 3 danger Mothman. It's a level 4. As I already said, the deck relies on level 4 monsters in order to summon Xyz, rank 4 Xyz. So Mothman, it's a level 4, and in case it gets discarded by its own effect when we reveal from hand, it gives us the ability to change some cards in our hand. Also, as we are going to see in a moment, we have a lot of cards that work pretty well from graveyard. So Mothman is perfect for the deck. To Yakalop, why? If it's summon, it's okay because we can use it for to link summon, for example, Lambda. And in case it gets discarded, give us the ability to special summon a level 4 like Mothman or Chupacabra from the deck. So Chupacabra is the last one, only one because in general we don't have a lot of danger monsters in our graveyard, so it's quite hard to use the effect to reborn. But it's still a level 4, so when it gets summoned, or we can summon him with Yakalop, so it's quite good in one pair, and in case you can just side him out for game 2 or 3, or just cut it off in case you see it's not working properly. So this is the little danger engine. After this we have 3 Lunalight Kaleido Cheek. We have a Lunalight, obviously, as the name of the deck, it's a Luna Time deck requires. So Lunalight Kaleido 6, why we need this card? Because as cost she can send another Lunalight monster from the deck to the graveyard. And we usually send Martin. Martin has the ability to bounce one face-up Lunalight card you control to your hand and special summon her from the graveyard. So basically the combo is summon Chick to send Martin to the graveyard, then use Tiger to reborn Martin and go into the first link or Xyz, and then we use Martin to bounce Tiger back to our hand, special summon Martin, and then activate again Tiger to special summon Chicks from graveyard, and we can go into a second link or Xyz. We still have, so basically with just 2 cards, 1 Chick and 1 Tiger, we have access to 4 monsters on our field. So 2 Xyz or a Link plus an Xyz. So really, really strong. And we can start the whole combo without even waste our normal summon in some cases. It depends if we have, obviously, the best card of the Lunalight engine, that's Lunalight Perfume. Perfume is really strong. Not only it's a reborn for the Lunalight, but it has a secondary effect that we can banish this card from the graveyard to add one Lunalight monster from our deck to our hand. So it gives us the ability to search for other combo pieces. And that's why we also play 3 Foolish Burial Goods to send this card to the graveyard, because it's really, really good, even just to search one card. After that, 3 Psyframe Gamma, and obviously 1 driver, because we need we need driver in order to use Gamma. Why Gamma? We're gonna see it can protect us during the beginning of our combo, and this deck relies on Lambda, and there is a great synergy between Lambda, the link of the frame, and Redoer. In fact, Lambda says that if a psychic monster pointed to this card is banished, you can add, during your hand phase, you can add a Psyframe gear card from your deck during hand phase. So basically, you first summon Lambda with 2 monsters, then you go into Redoer, use its own effect to banish itself, and then during the hand phase, Lambda gives us the ability to search for Gamma. So we will have a negation, an extra negation to use during opponent's turn in case we don't have Gamma already in our hand. So this great synergy between the Psyframe Link and the Time Thief Redoer exists. So this is quite important, because if you can achieve this little combo, that's pretty easy for the deck, you already have 1 monster negation and destruction of the monster. So it's really, really strong, because Gamma is one of the best hand traps in the game. After this, we just start with Time Thief engine. 1 Time Thief Basal Ship, only 1. Why? The quick effect is that you can tribute this card, target 1 card, you have to target 1 Time Thief Xyz monster you control and 1 card in your opponent graveyard, and you just attach that card as a material under your Xyz monster, and that's the quick effect. It's quite good because you can use it to stop cards like a Monster Reborn, the new Pot of Avarice, not new, but the newly released from the list Pot of Avarice, and you can just stop plays. You can stop Orcust because you can just maybe attach an Orcust Nightmare in order to stop him from further plays. So in general, it's a good card, and is also good for the second effect. If this card is in your graveyard, you can detach one material from an Xyz monster you control to special summon itself from the graveyard. So it gives you the ability to go on with your combos. And for example, if you start Perfume or just Foolish Burial, Foolish Burial Goods, send Perfume, banish Perfume, discard this card, add maybe Chicks, and you can maybe start the combo if you already have a Tiger, or add a Tiger if you already have a Chicks. Go into a Link, summon Lambda, then with the Lunalight combo, summon Redoer, and with Basal Ship effect, summon itself from a graveyard, attaching 1 from Redoer. And if you have any other extender, you can just go into Perpetua easily. And we have a combo because we focus to summon both Redoer and Perpetua in the first turn to lock our opponent. So 1 Basal Ship, it's okay. General good, not more than 1 because it's a bit bricky, but 1 is just fine and we need it. The best Time Thief card as combo starter is Time Thief Regulator. The effect is if you control no other monsters, you can tribute this card to special summon 2 Time Thief from with different names from your deck. So it basically gives us the ability to start the combo because we can special summon him plus we can you normally special summon Winder that we're gonna see in a moment, and Battleship or Recorder in case what we already have in our graveyard or in our hand. So this is quite good because it gives us the ability to special summon 2 monsters from our deck. So 2 Regulator. The second effect of Regulator, it's the one that we are gonna use less probably. And if an existing monster you control is destroyed by battle, you can special summon itself from the graveyard. But it's a bit hard to trigger this effect because normally Redoer is get banished by its own effect, and Perpetua it's a bit hard to destroy due to her 2,500 points in defense. So it's a bit hard. But in general, just remember you can special summon this card from the graveyard when an existing monster you control is destroyed by battle. Then we have Time Thief, Time Recorder. Recorder quick effect is that once per turn, during the opponent's battle phase, you can tribute this card, and the next damage from an opponent attacking monster this turn, the next time you take damage from an attacking opponent's monster, is also reflected to your opponent, so your opponent takes that battle damage instead of you. It's okay. Sometimes it gives you the ability to protect your life points, especially against zero borrows. Because if your opponent tries to close the game with 0 borrows, you can just tribute Time Thief Recorder in order to prevent the damage, and also if he decides to attack anyway, he gets the whole damage, so you may just win the duel, the game, thanks to this effect. But it's a really good against some card like 0 borrows to protect your monster from attacks. And the second effect is that if an existing monster you control leaves the field due to a card effect, while this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon her back. And this effect is quite good because Time Thief Redoer just banish itself with its own effect. So you can just banish Redoer and special summon her from the graveyard. So again, if you discard her with Perfume or maybe a danger monster, you can special summon her back thanks to Redoer. And for example, if you have Redoer with detach 1 to summon Battleship, with detach the other monster to banish itself, we can trigger both Recorder and maybe Lambda if you already summon him. And we can go into Perpetua, add Gamma in the end phase, and we end with Time Thief Redoer that comes back during hand phase, Perpetua, Lambda, and Gamma in our hand. And it's not hard as a starting end so we can achieve this pretty easily. Last Time Thief monster in the main deck is Time Thief Winder. Winder has 2 effects. The first one is that you can detach 1 material from an existing monster you control and special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Time Thief card from your deck to your hand. And you can use each effect once per turn. So why this card is good? Not only you can special summon him quite easily from your hand, it's a level 4 monster you can summon really easily, but the fact that he has the ability to search for 1 Time Thief card in your deck. And normally 9 times out of 10 you use this effect to search the new counter trap that we are going to discuss, but sometimes you can even add the quick spell that's like a mm, double summon for Time Thief monsters. But this hands the monsters in the deck, and as you see, we play three different engines because we have Danger monsters, we have Lunalight monsters, and we have Time Thief monsters. But there are a lot of synergies between these three archetypes in this deck. So uh, you may decide to maybe cut one Martin, or maybe you can decide to change some, maybe the danger monster for a little Orcust engine, because all these monsters, all the Time Thief monsters, and even Vexes are dark monsters, so you may decide to splash some Orcust cards in this deck. Or better, you can decide to splash the Time Thief engine in an Orcust deck. After this, three Foolish Burial Goods. Why? We have perfume that's really good from a graveyard. We need perfume in the graveyard. Sometimes it's even better to send this card to the graveyard instead of drawing it. So, three Foolish Burial Goods, really good for the deck. Give us the ability to search, to send perfume to search any Lunalight monster we need. In some cases, you can decide to send Flyback, that has a double effect, because all the not all the traps, because the counter does not, but Flyback, you can banish this card from a graveyard and target one card in your opponent graveyard and attach it to an Exist monster you control. So you can, in some situation, decide to use Foolish Burial to send Time Thief Flyback to maybe get rid of Array or some Orcust monster in open graveyard, something that is just maybe stopping you from closing the game. But free Foolish Burial Good, free Lunalight Perfume, best card of a Lunalight engine. It's not even once per turn. You can abuse this card even if you draw into one or two, or draw one and send the other with Foolish Burial Goods. You can just banish one from graveyard, discard the other copy, add one, banish the second copy, discard something else, add another card, and you can start the Lunalight combo with two monsters. So really, really strong, the best card for the Lunalight engine. I'm testing one Pot of Avarice. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not great. It depends on the situation. And initially, when I saw it on the new list, I saw that they put it at one. I was like, I don't know, because in the past this card was broken. But now I remembered why sometimes this card is not so broken, because if you draw this card too early in the game, it's just a brick, because it's a -1, because it's not always so easy to have 5 monsters in the graveyard. Sometimes you need those monsters in the graveyard, so you won't use Avarice, even if it gives you the ability to draw 2 cards. But sometimes, maybe due to opponents having a lot of hand traps or interruptions, and you need to draw new cards to go on with your combo, you may use Pot of Avarice. But I'm trying this out, and sometimes it's good, sometimes not. So I may decide to cut it. You may decide to change the card as well. But one Pot of Avarice, it's not bad. And one Time Thief startup. I was playing two of this spell instead of Avarice, so it's, for example, an option to play two Time Thief startup instead of one and one Avarice. What the card does. It's a quick spell. The first one is that you can special summon one Time Thief monster from your hand. And the second effect is you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one Time Thief, Exist monster you control, and you can attach 3 Time Thief cards, one monster, one spell, and one trap from your graveyard as material. Only limit is the fact that you can only use one of its effect per turn. So in general, you do not use the second effect, the one that gives you the ability to attach three different time thieves cards. That's why I decided to cut one to play Avarice, because I've never used or I just used it once and it was irrelevant, the second effect. And you only use it as a double summon style card because you need to open with this card and one regulator, so you can just time thief startup, special summon regulator, regulator effect, tribute in itself, special summon to other time thief, and you still have a normal for the Lunalight combo. So you have two time thief monsters plus the four Lunalight monsters from their combo, and you can easily end with Lambda plus Redoer and Perpetua. So in general, it's good if we draw this card in our first hand to start our combo, but after we resolved our combo, this card sometimes is quite bad. It's not always so great. You can decide to play the second copy instead of Avarice, or you can just play one for the standard combo. And it obviously is also searchable by Time Thief winner. Free impermanence, best hand trap of the game. Your opponent can actually use Called by the Grave on this card. You can use it during turn 0. You can set this card just to stop one effect, or maybe even to counter some spell or traps if your opponent decide to activate a card in the same column. So in general, you already know the card. Really strong, free impermanence, so they are just fine for the deck. One Time Thief flyback. Okay, the first effect, the one that we haven't discussed yet. You can target one Time Thief Xyz monster control, attach one Time Thief card from your hand or deck to it as material. In general, you never use this effect because you don't want to draw this card and set this card. Normally, what you're gonna do, you use the second effect of Perpetua that gives you the ability to attach one Time Thief card to a Time Thief Xyz monster you control, and you in general want to attach this card as material to Reduel. Only one card because it's not a great trap. The trap effect is not great. The graveyard effect, it's okay, nothing too special, and you never want to draw this card. It's really bricky. So just one, because you have to be sure to have a trap under Redoer, and it gives you the ability to always have a trap to set under to attach, under Redoer. And last but not least, because it's a really good card, it's Time Thief Retrograde. Retrograde is a counter that gives you the ability to negate the activation of a spell or a trap card, and if you negate that card, you can attach it as a material of a Time Thief Xyz monster. You need a face-up Time Thief Xyz monster in order to activate this card, but in general it's really good. Only limitation is the fact that you can only activate one Time Thief Retrograde per turn, but in general, with the standard combo, you search this card out of Winder effect, so you normally hand with Lambda that gives you access to 1 Gamma, thanks to the synergy with Redoer, Perpetua that attach flyback, so we have the ability to bounce one face-up card our opponent controls, the ability to negate one monster and destroy one monster, or anyway to negate the activation of a monster's effect, and the third negation, the third interruption is the the counter trap that gives us the ability to negate a spell or trap card. For example, we can stop a Dark Ruler no more, we can stop the new Reijeki, so a lot of cards can be stopped by this card and give us a lot of protection and saves our monsters. And this is all for the main deck. I won't discuss the side deck. It's just 15. I'd not say random cards because I've just put the normal side card like Ash Blossom because we have no entraps in the deck. Same for Ogre. Ghost Ogre is quite good now. It's really good against Spiral, against Altergeist, against Guru Control. In general, it's a really good card. One Pancrops, it's okay. It's still strong, even if we can only run one. Free Cyclone, free Dark Ruler no more. Only Spotlight for the side deck, it's Mind Control. This card is really, really strong in this deck because we need monsters for our links, our Xyz, and Mind Control in general is a strong card, but in this deck is even stronger. And one red reboot because if you face Altergeist, you need to stop their traps. Same for Guru Control, you just want to play without being interrupted every 2 seconds by a trap card. For the extra deck, okay, we first of all have a bunch of strong rank 4 Xyz monster, one Abyss Dweller, really good against a lot of decks, Orcust, against Salamangreat, in general a good level rank 4 Xyz monster, and you can even detach the one without needing your opponent to have to control any kind of monster. You can just detach one thanks to his effect, and this sometimes is useful because you may decide to detach, for example, Basil Ship in order to detach the second material with Basil effect and summon Basil, so you have a free Xyz monster that you can use to summon this link that we are gonna discuss in a moment. One castle, really good removal, generic rank 4 Xyz monster, really good. One Abyssal Nightmare, this guy is quite good. It requires 2 level 4 dark monsters, but as we already said, all our level 4 monsters are dark monsters, as you can see, so it's pretty easy to summon, and its effect is really, really strong because when your opponent special summon a monster, you can detach one material and change that special summon monster to face down defense position. And so we can interrupt them from going to Link or Xyz as well, and or Synchro in general. So we can stop our opponent's plays. And in general, it's a really good card. You normally won't start with this one, but you may decide to summon it during a second turn if you can close the game immediately. Okay, new card, the new Prime Aftech Laplacian. Laplacian is really good because it requires 3 level 4 monsters, but it gains 3 different effects. And you can detach all the free materials in order to use all three effects when it's summoned. The first one is that you can send one random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, and it's really strong. The second one gives you the ability to send one monster your opponent controls to the graveyard, and the last one to send one spell or trap card your opponent controls to the graveyard. So in general, it's quite good because after the first turn, during the second turn, you just summon him to clean your opponent's field, your discard one card, so a bit of hand control, and then you can use this monster to summon the Infinite Tracker Link monster. Okay. Two-time Thief Perpetua, core Xyz monster. The first effect is that during the standby phase, you can attach one material in order to reborn one Time Thief monsters in your graveyard, except ourselves. in general, we use this effect to reborn a recorder or a bezel ship from our graveyard. You can also reborn Winder to search another card, so you can you have a starter for the next turn, or maybe just search the startup or retrograde, so you can set another counter next turn. It's really good in general, but the strong effect is the quick one that you can target one Xyz monster you control and attach one Time Thief card from your deck to it as material. And you can use each effect once per turn, obviously, but in general, this effect is... Oh, I got timed out. Sorry, guys. Let's log in again. In general, as I was saying, the card is really good. Okay, a bit of lagging. I had to move some cards in order to avoid this, but not to a room. Okay, we gonna... Okay, on our Lunalight deck, we back. So one Time Thief, Redoer, no, two Time Thief, sorry. Redoer, it's the boss monster of a deck. We already knew the effect, but just in case you don't remember what it does, once per turn during the standby phase, you can attach the top card of your opponent deck to this card as material. And the quick effect is you can attach up to 3 different types of material from this card and apply the following effects depending on the material that was detached. Monster, you can banish this card until the end phase. Spell, you can draw 1 card. And trap, you can place 1 face-up card your opponent controls on top of a deck. You mainly use the effect with the monster and trap effect because you want to protect himself, so you can banish itself from till the end phase. You can banish itself from the field till the end phase, so it won't be destroyed in general, and your opponent can attack over it. And the trap just because you can interrupt your opponent's plays. So really good. It's obviously the boss monster of the deck. And last Xyz monster is Tornado Dragon. Again, general rank 4 Xyz monster, really good. It gives us the ability to destroy spell and traps, and it's okay just to try it maybe when we want to end the game before summoning something important. We want to be sure to get rid of some back rows, and this guy is just fine. One Borrowed Dragon for the OTK, too strong, and you can easily summon this monster. Even with Lunalight, just with the Lunalight combo, you can go into Borrowed Dragon pretty easily. One Infinitrack Fortress Megaclops. Okay, these cards, maybe many of you don't know this card because it's a bit strange. It requires 3 Xyz monsters to be summoned, but the effect is really powerful. First of all, it has 4,000 attack points, but the effect says that it's unaffected by other monster effects except those of Xyz monsters. So, in general, if your opponent is not playing any Xyz in his extra deck, he has no way to get rid of this card with monsters effect because it's completely immune to all monster effects. Unfortunately, Orcus is still in the metagame. Dingirsu can get rid of it, but it's not a problem. So, because in general, for example, Spiral plays no Xyz monsters, and now Spiral is one of the best deck in the metagame, if not the best one. And it can get rid of this card because it cannot be destroyed by battle except by Xyz monster also. So it's unaffected by monster effect and cannot be destroyed by battle except with Xyz monsters. In general, it's really hard for your opponent to get rid of this card, except for Orcus. And there is a effect. It's really really strong. You can target one Xyz monster in your graveyard and one card your opponent controls. You can reborn the first one, special summon that monster from the graveyard. So you reborn one Xyz monster from your graveyard, and if you do, attach that opponent card um, as material. Also, for the rest of the turn, any damage your opponent takes is halved, but it's a small piece to pay, small price to pay in order to get rid of something your opponent controls, because you always will have at least one Xyz monster in your graveyard due to the fact that it requires three Xyz monsters to be summoned, and in general you use Perpetua plus two other monsters. Use the effects of Mega Clubs to reborn Perpetua, and then attach one, and thanks to Perpetua effect you can reborn maybe a Redoer in your graveyard. So it's really really good for the deck, and in general gives you the ability to end the game pretty fast, because with 4,000 attack points, if you have already used Laplacian to get rid of your opponent monsters, and maybe you have something else other than Tiscar, you can just push enough damage to end the duel. One Nightmare Phoenix and one Nightmare Unicorn now. Okay, just Nightmare, the two Nightmare cards, because they are broken, they are always useful to get rid of backrows or monsters, cards in general. So they are just too strong, and we want to play this card because why not? They are just so useful in many different situations. And last, Tube, Psyframe Lord, Lambda. The synergy, I explain again, is to summon Lambda, then to summon Time Thief Redoer in a zone Lambda points, use Redoer effect to banish itself, and trigger Lambda effect to search during the end phase up Psyframe gear card, so we can add Gamma and use Gamma even if you control monster, thanks to Lambda effect, that we can use the effect of Psyframe gear monsters in our end even if we control monsters. So you can play one and change one Lambda for IP Masquerena. I was testing Q because sometimes you get maybe warning or strike on this card if you go second, and you need to restart the combo, so you want to summon the second one. So in general, I play two of this card just in case they get rid of the first one before ending my turn, before ending my combos, and I want to actually abuse a bit of his effect and his ability to search for Gamma, and to use Gamma during my opponent's turn. But in general, you can play the deck with only one, and maybe decide to play Masquerena instead of a second copy of Lambda. This is the deck. You will see a match, how this deck works during a match. I first faced this while playing with the follower during my stream on Twitch TV. I got destroyed. He won the game 2-0, and I asked him the deck list. I have to say a big thank you to Really Bad Guy's nickname on Dueling Book, and thanks for the deck list, for the idea of this deck. This is a prototype. I hope you guys like this deck. Maybe you can change it, adapt it to your playstyle. It's a really fun deck. You can just test it at the locals, something like that. And if you find a deck list that works fine, you can just decide to use it maybe at a regional or even at a YCS. But it's a different deck. It's something that you don't see every day. So even your opponents in general don't know how to play against your card, don't know your card effects, and especially this card, it's really really good because in general no one is playing Exist monsters nowadays except for Orcust, so it's a really fun deck for locals. That's everything. I leave you with a video of a match that I had on Dwelling Book. Hope you enjoyed the decklist. Remember to follow my team on all the socials. You can find our Facebook and Instagram's link, the link to our Facebook and Instagram pages under this video. And as always, see you next time here on YouTube or maybe on Twitch. Bye everyone. See you.
This is to end in fire, then we shall all burn together. Watch the flames climb high into the night, calling out Father, oh, stand by and we will watch the flames burn over and on the mountainside. High. And if we should die, we should all die together. Raise a glass of wine for the last time, calling out Father, oh, prepare as we will watch the flames burn over and on the mountainside. Desolation comes upon the sky. Now I see fire inside the mountain. I see fire in the trees, and I see fire, hollow souls, I see fire, blood in the breeze, and I hope that you remember me. Surely I'll do the same. Come finding mountain holes. We got too close to the flame, calling out Father.